due to the weather. Thank you. All right. Before we start, I'm going to just ask that everybody mute themselves unless you're speaking. And if you want to speak in the non-agenda public comment section, go ahead and put a message in the chat. I'm just going to have a running list here of everyone who wants to speak. Let's go to the agenda. First item is recognition of first responders, and I do see Officer Santos here. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for doing this meeting tonight. I know it is crazy, so the Zoom meeting is perfect. Just a few things. We had a Captain's Advisory Board meeting the other night. Went over a few things, so I just wanted to touch on those. In January, some of the highlights that we had on the news releases was police arrested a driving school instructor for sex crimes against some female students. Detectives are looking for additional victims. The driving school instructor was identified as 50-year-old Richard Banks. He was an instructor for the American Driving School based out of El Cajon. While investigating, the detectives did learn that Banks was using a secret camera hidden in the instructional vehicle that he was using to record the students' private areas during their lessons. Most of these students were under the age of 18. Another incident we had was on Sunday, January 28th. The San Diego Police Department received a radio call from a neighbor, saying a neighbor that had been stabbed. Officers responded very quickly out there. And unfortunately, we did have a male identified 61-year-old Michael Johnson was stabbed by his 25-year-old stepson, identified as Pablo Johnson. And then at the end of the month, we also had an arrest regarding Rancho Bernardo High School. Some threats were made by a student. Detectives were able to get a search warrant to go out to the residence, and they were able to search the residence. And during the search, they did find some unsterilized firearms, commonly referred to as ghost guns, and other weapons that were confiscated. The father has been identified as 45-year-old Neil Anders. He was arrested on charges of possession of illegal firearms, manufacturing assault weapons, and possession of destructive devices. So those were in our news releases for last month. And then another quick thing that we hit on during our meeting was the pop-up car meets that we're having. From March through December, we are happy to report that the numbers have decreased significantly. During those couple of months, we had 236 citations. We had 97 vehicles that were sent to this for state referrals. We had 5 misdemeanor arrests. We had 2 felony arrests, several warnings. We had 4th waiver searches. We had vehicle impounds. And we are happy to say that on their social media, they've been posting that northeastern area is too hot, as I like to say, or burned. So thankfully, we have been seeing a decrease. Doesn't mean that they are totally gone. We are still seeing some out there, but the numbers have dropped a lot. So we're happy to say that. For a couple of upcoming events for us, I'm sure you guys will touch base on this one, but we have the Tet Festival coming up at the end of the month that we will be attending. And then in May, we also brought up that we will be attending, Northeastern officers will be attending the Sacramento Police Memorial. Unfortunately, last year we did lose one of our officers. He used to work at Northeastern and he transferred up to Riverside Sheriff's, and he was killed in the line of duty. So we're going to go out there when they honor him to be with his family again in Sacramento, and that's going to be on May 6th. So that is what I have. If anyone has any questions for me, I am here. All right. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I just want to let everybody know with the pop-up car shows, the reduction is at least in part because Northeastern Division was meeting with the mall owners on a regular basis. And working on information they were sent as to where these shows would be happening. And Mira Mesa now has the reputation as a neighborhood that will not tolerate the craziness that was going on. The shows have, for the most part, moved on from our neighborhood. And I'd like to thank Northeastern for doing that, for being so engaged, and for making it safer for us to do something as simple as go to the mall in the evening. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Barry, for setting us up with all the mall managers, the property managers. That helped out a lot. We couldn't have done that without you. So we
Yeah,
do appreciate it.
you took that and run. All right. Do we have anyone here from San Diego Fire Department Station 38? All right, hearing none. We're going to go on. We're going to approve the minutes from the January meeting. Those have been posted at the website. Does anyone have adjustments to those minutes to suggest? Okay. Hearing no adjustments, we will go ahead and accept the minutes as they were posted. The next thing, Mira Mesa Girl Scouts have an announcement about cookie sales. All right. Not sure who's taking that one. Is that my favorite Girl Scout? You're muted.
I forgot how to unmute for a second. Apologies. Okay. All right, Caroline. Okay. Well, first, tell them your name.
My name is Caroline.
Are we speaking loud enough? Say your.
My name is Caroline.
And you're a brownie.
And I'm a brownie.
In truth.
In truth 3017.
And I wanted to let you know.
And I wanted to let you
The
know
cookies are for
the
sale.
cookies are for sale.
Show them your favorite. Tell them.
These are our tagalongs. They have peanut butter and chocolate in them.
That's your favorite.
And it's my favorite.
We were supposed to be doing the flag ceremony today, and that got postponed to a future date, we hope. We wanted to let you know that all Girl Scouts in Mira Mesa and San Diego County are selling Girl Scout cookies all the way through March 10th. But while supplies last, so if you have a favorite flavor, you want to contact your favorite Girl Scout or Girl Scout troop to get those orders in. Booths are starting this Friday, February 9th around the county. We do have booths that are happening in Mira Mesa at H Mart, at the Hobby Lobby, and also Grocery Outlet. I heard a rumor that the Mira Mesa Vons will have them, but there aren't any starting quite yet, but there might possibly some of those that pop up as well. Our troop will be at the H Mart this weekend and also Hobby Lobby. All the booths in Mira Mesa are 2 p.m. and on. So they are the restrictions of the property managers is that they are late afternoon, early evening booths. There is no morning booths. So if you're looking for a booth, know that that's the hours. Anything else you want to say? No, say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Caroline.
supporting Girl Scouts. If you don't have a troop to order from and you're in need of a Girl Scout, the person that's up next, I believe, is Michael Spencer, who is my husband and Caroline's dad. And his information with Scripps Mesa Fireworks is easily available. If you need to contact him to find out how to get some cookies, he can help you take care of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It is the season for cookies. All right. And as was indicated, next up is Michael Spencer from Scripps Mesa Fireworks with an announcement about this year's show.
That's right. Thank you very much. So Scripps Mesa Fireworks is very proud to announce what we are calling the Countdown to Independence Day. So why is it the Countdown to Independence Day? Well, the show will be on July 3rd. It's not July 4th. It was a decision made that financially and also just to recreate a really great institution, a great tradition in Mira Mesa again. We've had some really lean years these last few, and we're excited to get going again. July 3rd is financially a smart decision because we don't have to try and reach $40,000. We can reach a more reasonable show price. Also, why are we calling it Countdown? Well, the idea is that over at the park, well, we know when the show's starting. We know exactly when it starts. So we're going to try and have a big countdown from the park so loud that they can actually hear it over at Wagenheim to know when to push the button. So the idea is that the community really has a great buy-in to the fireworks. So to help get us there, we're still taking donations at our website, scriptsmesafireworks.org. You can also even find us on on Facebook, where you can find a donate now button on our side. Plus, everywhere you look, you can find places to donate to us. We're also looking for sponsors. Sponsors, we consider any donation that is made over $1,000. So if you have anyone that you know who runs a business, who has the ability, even in these leaner years, to make a donation sponsorship to the fireworks above $1,000, they would be considered a sponsor to the fireworks. That being said, right now I will say thank you to Casa Mira View, because they have made another donation one more time. We appreciate all the years of donations they've made for us. We have a pledge right now. Vulcan is looking into exactly what level they want to come in, but Vulcan Materials down there has always been a great supporter. And our title sponsor, once more, is Three Roots, showing their dedication to the fireworks in Mira Mesa. We are about halfway there, which is always happy to be in February, knowing that we're almost there. I will be meeting with this representatives from the school, from Parks and Rec and everything very soon, to do another site survey to make sure that where we're going to be launching from Wagenheim is still going to be great. But everyone who has made a donation, I sincerely appreciate it. If you haven't made a donation, I appreciate you looking into doing a donation. And like I said, July 3rd over Wagenheim, it's countdown to Independence Day, and hopefully it'll be a great party. And if you're not on the Mira Mesa, Scripps Mesa Fireworks team, join the team that's going to be working with Mira Mesa Town Council to get the 4th of July Independence Day celebrations going. So thank you very much. Any questions? Yes, Pam.
Not so much a question, but a comment. I was wondering if you want to turn the mic over to Barry, so to speak, because town council will be complimenting what will happen that night with the fireworks as the grand finale, with the community festival leading up to it. Barry, you want to say a few words on that?
I think she got disconnected.
Oh,
so
did
I'm
she
sure-
get disconnected? Okay, well
Yeah, I
then,
think she-
as town council vice president and also a fairly recent addition to the Scripps Mesa fireworks team, the concept for July 3rd, since it's a Wednesday, the night before the 4th of July holiday, is that it will be an afternoon, evening celebration. Many people will be getting off work a little bit early, and even if not, coming to the park, trying to have something bigger than what we had as the community picnic with one food truck this past year. That was a great start. We want to have something a little more that will be a real opportunity for people to gather there, have fun at Hourglass Field, and then, as Michael says, countdown to the fireworks. Imagine a Times Square type experience, counting down to New Year's. We are going to count down to the 4th of July fireworks at 9 p.m. as a community, and it should be grand.
So Barry said she'll
And-
be right back. Her daughter tripped the breakers, she said. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
I did have one last thing, and I
Yes.
completely forgot. Any donation that is made to Scripps my goodness, any donation made to Scripps Mesa Fireworks during the month of February will get you our heart logo merchandise. We have bags, we have water bottles with this logo There was our last t-shirt design winner from 2020. Jana from Hage Elementary all the way back in 2020 was our last winner. So it's a really cool heart. It says America, and let me get out of the way. You can't really see the top of it, but we have a lot of great little heart merchandise that any donation we receive, we'll be contacting and for them to get a water bottle or a bag. And if we have any shirts left, a shirt. So,
Perfect.
thank
That's
you
good to
so
know.
much.
So the theme is we love our community fireworks in February. Sounds good. Okay. Okay, well, if Barry needs to be off camera for a little bit, I'll go ahead and jump in and start our main program, because we have a main program that I think is going to be of a lot of interest to everyone. I'll introduce our town council board member, Shane O'Garo, who is also pastor of the church. And jump in, Shane, introduce yourself and your church and your background and all that good stuff.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I know a lot of you know me. My name is Shane O'Garo. I am with the Church of Salvation. We actually have a member or two on tonight. We are here, right here. We started right here in Mira Mesa. We have regular Sunday service. I see my brother Kenny's on the call. And then we also have we also do homeless outreach as well. So we have a community side and a ministry side. And tonight we're going to talk about the community side and what we've been doing with homelessness. Okay, so I guess I got to share my screen.
Yeah, you should be able to.
All right, good. 1 second. As soon as all right, cool. I think we got it here. Y'all, can y'all see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Cool. So our outreach side is called 4 I Was. We actually, and part of that is our hit squad, which is the homeless information team. And what our target is homelessness. So we kind of call it that. We believe that we can actually help make a change in homelessness. Since June 2022 to February, we've connected with over 822. We've connected with 822 homeless individuals throughout the county. By race, I got you guys all over my thing, so I'm trying to break it down. By race, from July to October last year, we've connected with 38% white, 27% Black, 23% Hispanic, and 12% others. The other thing is from November to now, those numbers have changed a little bit. We've helped 35% white, 28% Black, 16% Hispanic, and 21% all others. From July to October, this is our breakdown. As you can see, Mira Mesa, we had 11% people out of that number that we contacted with. Uptown Services was 8%, San Diego was 28%, and Lemon Grove was 58%, just from July to October. From November, our numbers went down in Mira Mesa at 4%. Uptown was 28%, that increased, 26% in San Diego County, and 42% in Lemon Grove. One of the things that you'll notice is this is a question we get asked a lot, is how many people have mental illnesses, how many people have addiction issues, and how many people have both. From July to October of last year, we have 40% mental health issues, people with mental health issues, 38% addiction issues, and 20% have both. But from November to February, those numbers dropped dramatically. We've had 22% mental health issues, 11% addiction issues, but 13% of both. Since we've actually started doing this since June 2022 to February, we've actually helped 106 people get off the streets to either the temporary or permanent housing. Our breakdown from November, so just this quarter, is we had 20% moved into shelter, 13% in rehab, 10% in safe parking, and 57% into permanent housing. What makes us so different is that we actually have a lot of great volunteers. We have volunteers that are out in Lemon Grove that actually touch the homeless. We actually have one volunteer here in Mira Mesa, and we also have people that someone could call, and they do an intake, and we have 2 other people that call them back. Those are volunteers. We also have partners. We have amazing partners. We're partnered with a day center in North Park, and we're partnered with a shared housing service provider. And so a lot of times we can get people from off the streets, and if they have housing available, get them right into housing. We also have our own resource database that allows us to connect with different shelters and people like that. And when we do have it, we also have rental assistance. What is needed right now for us is that we need more volunteers. Our Mira Mesa location hasn't been doing as well as we want it to do because we don't have enough dedicated volunteers to help out. That's where you guys come in. The other thing that we need help with, if you can't volunteer, we're looking for monthly subscribers to help keep this going. There's a lot of times that I'm in a group setting, and we are the people that are the smallest funded, but we get a lot of the work done. And so we're always looking for some sort of support and help to keep this going. As if you talk to anybody, they'll tell you that our numbers are out of the roof, they're out of control. But that's where we are right now. Do we have any questions? I kind of went through that a little fast, so let me know if there's something you need me to go back over or whatever. Any
Shane,
questions?
Can you say something about just sort of an example of what you do here in Mira Mesa? Do you go and
Of
talk
course.
to people on the streets,
Yes.
or what's your
So
procedure?
we're connected with Lucky Duck. A lot of times we got the safe sleeping bags. We gave those out when we went out in September. We go out and we talk to the homeless. We see what they want or what they need, and we actually do an intake on them. So that's how our numbers are so accurate. We actually do an intake with them. We see what they need, and if we got food and water, we give it out to them as well. A lot of times it's just showing our homeless neighbors love, and they're receptive of it. And that causes them to want to change or want to get off the streets and things like that. Any questions? Go ahead. Hold on. I got Lonnie. Lonnie, what you got? You're on mute, Lonnie. Come on.
Would you
No.
say, how many would you say? I know you were talking about addiction versus mental health issues, but what would you say, like how many people where it's just poverty, not being able to afford to live in San Diego, and how many people do you think are transitory, where there may be like one bad luck away from being homeless?
All right, so let me explain this. In San Diego, we are always one paycheck away from being on the streets. Let's keep that 100. People that are on the streets, they all have different stories. As you probably see in the news, that seniors are increasingly becoming more and more homeless. And that a lot of times you'll hear the same story. A spouse died, that something happened with their income. It's just really something like that. And then they're homeless. And these people have never been homeless before. They're struggling. They're like, I don't know what to do. And our system is so complicated and convoluted that everybody's trying to get paid, and that's great, but they don't know how to work together to actually get people off the streets. So I'll tell you a quick story. I had there was a girl that called me a few months ago, and she was on the street sleeping in Spring Valley with her baby. Y'all heard what I said? Baby, right? And she calls the homeless resource center, which is downtown. And because she wasn't sleeping in San Diego, the 921 area code, they gave her my number. And we were able to get her into Uptown so that she could get a shower, get a baby some food, set up her mail. And my GLM was right there, and we ended up housing her the same day. If you talk to any provider, they will say that takes weeks to do. We did it in a single day. So I don't know if that answers your question, Lonnie. Tell me if that answered it, or do you want me to go deeper into something else?
It answers it. And also I had a question, like, just because I travel a lot, at times, like, I tend to have a lot of hotel amenity trial size. You know, do you need stuff like that? Do you need menstrual supplies for the women? Like, what kind of goods do you need that we could donate?
So one of the things that becomes a small issue with us being small is that I've been talking to Barry about this and everybody else, city council. I'm like, dude, we just need an office space, right? Because then we could take all those supplies that you got and turn those into hygiene kits. Then we have a place to store them. Then if you notice, the one thing I didn't ask for on that slide was clothes. Why? We have nowhere to store them. I have I barely got enough in my space in my garage for my car. Imagine me trying to store everybody's clothes from Mira Mesa. It won't work. And so the issue, so yes, we can use it, and yes, we can connect it with Uptown for that stuff. But the issue is that we really don't have storage. We actually gave out 120 sleeping bags, and we had to store them at Uptown because we have no storage out here. Go ahead.
So maybe one thing that you need, if there's somebody on this call, or if any of you know somebody who has storage space that could be donated, if there is a self-storage place that wanted to make a charitable donation of storage for you, is that something you would be looking for?
Well, we're looking. Would be nice if we could get someplace. I mean, there's a lot of churches on here. We're a church. It'd be nice to connect with a church that'll give us a little office space. Because what happens is, we don't have a place where we could actually send the homeless out here to. So we give them our business cards. We tell them call this number, but we don't have an actual space for the homeless to come to and actually get the help right then and there. If you look downtown, that's everywhere. But as you guys know, the encampment ban has moved the homeless from outside of downtown into other areas. And the fact, because I'm in Lemon Grove and Mira Mesa and in North Park, those areas are getting an increase. I don't know if you noticed, but right before the rain, there's been more homeless that have been hanging around Mira Mesa than ever before. And that was right before the rain. Now, like, I'm coming out of my area, I'm seeing the homeless hanging out on bus stops. I'm seeing them in the middle of the Mira Mesa Boulevard. Is it Boulevard? Mira Mesa Ave Boulevard. I'm from Boston. But you get it. They're out there. And why do you think we're getting more and more homeless? It's because they're cleaning up downtown, but a lot of those homeless people are coming in other areas. If there was an incident in Lemon Grove recently, and they said that the reason why is because those are the homeless that is from downtown and not that area. So yeah, any other questions? Jermaine's going to beat me up for that, but that's okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm fact checking too. I know you mentioned, there's folks that are coming from different areas, but in actually conversation with one of the captains, he actually informed the council member and I that actually a good chunk of the folks that are unhoused in Mira Mesa are actually from Mira Mesa, which is really interesting. So a story, like one of the stories that we heard about was this individual who actually went to Mira Mesa High School, went to Challenger as well. And so thinking about how, like what you mentioned, Shane, how, you know, you just never know what their story is and how challenging life could be, whether that be, losing a partner, right? Like what you mentioned, or a spouse.
Mhm.
Definitely making sure that we're keeping an open mind is really critical in the way that we think about unhoused folks too, right?
Mhm.
So in addition to that, we have students that are also unhoused, people living in their cars that we might not necessarily classify traditionally as unhoused. But these are folks that, one thing that we did actually with Path recently was actually going out in this district. We saw so many people in their cars that just, you just never know. Some people are working multiple jobs and have no place to sleep. It gets really expensive, right, to stay at a hotel. I know personally for me, I know people in my family that have been unhoused, and so you just never know. Sabrina, did you want to add something?
You're on mute, Sabrina. Sabrina, you're on mute. No, you're on mute.
There
Yeah.
you go.
I don't think your mic is plugged in.
Yeah, you're not shown
Yeah.
as muted, but we're not hearing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, while she goes and does that, real quick, what Jermaine says is right. Our basic homeless that are out here, they're called anchors. They grew up here, they've been here, they lived here. We're starting to see others that are coming in though. That becomes another issue. And so we're not discriminating. I've met people that were in Dunkin' Donuts and they were not even in our Clarity system, which is Clarity is the database that we use to check to see if another agency has talked to that person. Are you ready, Sabrina?
Yeah, I think so. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. No, I was just going to speak from a San Diego Unified School perspective. I do know with the recent flooding, because we have had a lot of unhoused families, so the schools themselves have stayed pretty much intact, but particularly in Southeast San Diego area, older areas of the city, we've had a lot of families that have been impacted. So if there are school age kids involved that attend San Diego Unified, we do have funding. We were using school buses to move them to First Lincoln High School, and now I know they have a group of people still at Balboa Municipal Gym, but also for motel vouchers. So if you run into any people, I know they've been working closely with the city, but if there's anyone in that situation as a family, I know they have, it's from the COVID funding actually, which I didn't even know we were still getting some of that. So we're able to use some of that for motel vouchers right now too. So,
do you know how long the motel stays are?
I am not sure, but I can find out for you. Yeah, if you want to send me an email, I can look into that.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that we tell people that are families, if you're on welfare, welfare will actually give you 14 days in a hotel. And so that's something that we try to get people to go in. But again, we know 14 days is not enough days to get stable, right? We know when you're homeless, it takes more than 90 days. It could take up to at least 6 months to get stable. And so a lot of the work that we're doing out here, a lot of the work that we're doing in the county is really just trying to find ways to get people off the streets and get them more stable, get them more into either permanent, which is housing, or temporary, which is a shelter. In fact, I get an email every morning from the San Diego Rescue Mission about how many women's beds they have available every morning. And so that's something that we try to do, and I just added my team to that. And so that's something we're doing. We're constantly trying to get people off the streets. Any other questions before I let Jermaine actually take over?
Um,
You got questions for me, Jermaine? Go ahead.
I do actually, with your work with Mira Mesa constituents, or not just constituents, folks that you help out in the Mira Mesa area, what do you feel like has been the biggest themes as to what brought them there?
I can tell you right now, one of the biggest themes is quietness. A lot of people, this is one of the areas that a lot of people don't want to be downtown. A lot of people, if you're not from here, you want to go somewhere where you're not going to be a fear of being robbed, fear of being raped. Because Mira Mesa is a really nice neighborhood. Let's be real, right? It's a nice neighborhood compared to some places downtown. And believe it or not, I met a woman who said she didn't even want to be in a shelter because she was afraid of being raped. And that's in a shelter. So and I spoke to somebody about that with knowledge, and they say, yeah, that makes sense. So this is the kind of thing that we're dealing with. So when we look at homelessness, it's not one size fit all. It's not, we just need to put somebody in a house, or why can't they just go into a shelter? There's different areas, different facets, different things that is saying, hey, what can we do to help you? I have a gentleman that I spoke to today who was in jail, and I guess he's got traumatized from being in jail, and he has a mental issue where he can't be around more than 5 people. And a lot of shelters are way more than 5 people. So how do you help him? So those are some of the areas and discussions that I'm with. But going back to what Jermaine said, a lot of what I met out here is a lot of people like the area because it's quiet. There's a lot of canyons out over here. Y'all know that, right? There's a lot of hiding spots. There's a lot of hiding spots. And you could go to Best Buy. No one's gonna bother you over there. You can go to down, to some spot Donita took me to, and we literally went in the bushes and we're like, yo, they got camps, they got everything. It was wild. I was like, man, y'all just need some cable, you'd be good. But they were there, and so this is what's going on. So they're hiding, they're just being, because the other thing is too, they don't want to be harassed by everybody. Just like you don't want to be harassed while you're out there. Does that answer your question, Jermaine? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much. I do appreciate, the attention to making sure that our services are trauma informed and also are very thoughtful of the ways that we approach people with compassion. And I know that's a really big thing for you, Shane. So
yeah,
thank you.
Of course, because I always say we treat flowers better than we treat our homeless. Y'all ever see people sing the flowers? Ain't nobody singing on me. I haven't been serenaded in my whole life. I know people that sing the flowers, so that's what it is. Any other questions before I get going? All right, I'm gonna pass this over to, is Jermaine next, Barry?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so Jermaine, I'm gonna let you take over. Thanks. Thank you all.
Gary, I think had something. Oh, Sabrina, you as well?
Yeah, I was just going to throw out there, we're talking about the status of the homeless in Mira Mesa. I know in working with Shane on things, I tried to reach out after the last homeless census and get us some statistics on how many people were homeless either in Mira Mesa community or the 92126 zip code. And I've learned that those statistics are not kept. Either that or whomever I spoke with didn't want to give them out. So they can tell me a bulk number of people in San Diego City, San Diego County, but they can't tell us how many people are homeless in Mira Mesa or who were counted at the last census. And that's a little disturbing because if you want to address the areas of the city that have homeless counts, everything goes to downtown. There are other areas in the city that the homeless count is going up, but we have no way to prove it, no way to qualify for programs because we don't get the statistics by zip code or community. Can we get that changed?
So let's Jermaine just posted the RTFH reports. So I just went to look at it. really that would have to be something between the regional task force. I don't think the city's in charge of that. The city nor basically the regional task force, that's the system that is combined to use Clarity. So all San Diego County is supposed to use Clarity. Um, but the thing is that because of that, they also do the point in time count. And so that is something that I can, I got to reach out to Tamara anyways. I saw her earlier this week, and maybe that's something I can ask her, like, hey, is there a way we could break it down by town? And so that we can, at least for like the San Diego city. And that'd be something that I could talk, that I can't guarantee that they will do that, but it's something that, I mean, I gotta have lunch with her anyways. So that's something that I mean, I would have to ask her and see if that's something they can do. I don't think it'll be too hard. I think, but it might just be a different coding, but I don't know. I've not been on the back end of that. I don't know if does that answer your question, Barry?
Yeah, and that would be great because the bulk number gives the opportunity to go after funding just in general for the city of San Diego. But if we know that the homeless count in Mira Mesa has jumped up, 60%, just to pull a number out of the air, we can get funding directed to Mira Mesa, because right now the big concentration, of course, is downtown.
Right.
But we know, we see the comments all the time, nextdoor.com, Facebook. I get emails that say, hey, there's a homeless encampment here, there's a homeless encampment there. But without statistics to prove that number in 92126 or in Mira Mesa community, we can't get funding specifically directed up here to do something about it. It comes in as bulk funding, and then it generally all goes downtown.
Right, and I would like to also say, before you go on, Sabrina, real quick, that thank you all for those who are using Nextdoor and passing my number, because I've been getting a couple of people that have called me from that said they heard about me from somebody from Nextdoor. So thank you all for that, and that's from Mira Mesa. So yeah, well, go ahead, Sabrina. Huh?
Oh, yeah, so I was just, I just got a word back from my fellow colleague, Richard Barrera, because a lot of the hotel vouchers that we've been using have been in his area. I think someone needs to mute. I hear someone. Anyway, and he said that the vouchers are good for 10 days. These are for San Diego Unified students, but we are now connecting with the City Housing Commission that Jermaine might be able to speak more to, but they are providing vouchers good for 28 days. So we're able to prolong or work with them, I guess, and collaborate so that I think they would have at least 28 days with those vouchers.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
And that's for flooding victims, right?
Yeah, but yeah, it is, just for now, but I'm sure, if someone was already homeless and they're impacted by this, I'm sure that we could get them in.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. That helps a lot. That gives us information.
Let me know and I can send down the information if needed.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my email in the chat for anybody. It's simply Shane at the Church of Salvation.org. And there it is. All right, Jermaine, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. Thank you for your insights. I'll be dropping some links on to the chat. The helpful parts about Zoom is I can easily share information. So a couple of things. I know you mentioned vouchers. Sabrina, I know that the Housing Commission has committed to 5,766 vouchers, and we hope to continue to work with the San Diego Housing Commission to continue to address homelessness. Also, just additional insights based on the data that was collected in December 2023. Shane is completely right around, seniors are the biggest populations for unhoused folks. In San Diego alone, we have over 8,624. Of those, two are also identify as veterans. And I know that in Mira Mesa, this is really important to note because we have a highly high military population in our community. Being very thoughtful of that is extremely huge. But on top of that, there's also been 2,627 families that have been served, which continues to grow just, you know, now that it's January, I can only assume that more continues. There's always a lot more work to do. And if you have other questions, feel free to let me know. I sent some links to you all around data from the regional task force on homelessness, our office and Councilmember Kent Lee's office. We actually did the point in time count that Shane has mentioned, and we actually went to our district to advocate for, you know, counting how many unhoused folks within our community. And so really pushing for that, pushing for more funding on a federal level and a state level is really critical. It's not just a local thing. And so I want you all to also think about that, as well as how we can collaborate throughout the spectrum in our community. Anything else, Shane? I really appreciate you inviting me to speak.
No, I mean, I think one of the issues that a lot of people don't understand is that homelessness is a huge, huge problem. Over the last point in time count, not the one that was just done, the one last year. Thank you, Jermaine. It said we had over 10,000 homeless people in San Diego County. 6,500 were in San Diego City. And I think we have about 1,000 beds in the whole county. So even if we filled up all those beds, let's say we had 2,000 beds, that's still a lot of people that are still on the streets. And so we you know, there's, like I said, it's a multifaceted problem. I know Kent Lee's office is doing the best they can. We're a small organization, and we're doing the best we can. That's why we're telling people, hey, help us so that we can do more. But that's kind of what it is. You know, we have other organizations that are doing their thing, but I could tell you right now, I don't want to sound arrogant, but we're the best. I'm like DJ Khaled. We're the best. We actually have a whole system. But, you know, and our volunteers are the greatest. And the reason why we ask for financial support is so that we could get our volunteers from stop being volunteers so that they could come on and do more work to help more homeless people get off the streets by having a real paid check. Because the other issue, and the last thing I'm gonna say this, I told you it's a multifaceted thing. The last thing I want to tell you is that we have homeless people who are outside doing homeless outreach. So they are getting a paycheck and they still can't afford to be in a place because the pay in this industry is so low. I think the highest it's gone right now is like $22 an hour, and there's still people offering $18 an hour, which means that people in McDonald's are getting paid more than these people. Not to say anything's wrong with McDonald's, but you get my point. So, all right. Any other questions before we go? Before I go? Well,
I have one for Jermaine, actually. We heard, Shane, a lot about what you did here in the community. Jermaine, what is the city doing here? Are there city people that go out and try to interact with the homeless, or is it just up to the police to do that? What is going on?
Yeah, so I can speak on a general sense. I think the best person to actually talk to is Michaela. So I'm happy to connect you to Michaela to get more details. But from a general level, the city does a lot to, you know, partner with as many organizations, also trying to get or providing different opportunities. So for example, PATH is one of our partners. PATH provides you know, resources to unhoused folks too, not just in downtown, but also in Mira Mesa. We actually have I believe, a designated path representative, I believe what they're called. But they are assigned to also provide resources, help people get connected to housing, as just one of the aspects, or one of the factors, but other things as well as working with the housing commission to provide things like vouchers, right? As just an example. Jeff, I will make a note for Michaela to get back to you to provide more information on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff, this just to let you know, Path also has their own shelter. There's Alpha Project that does shelters. They have their own outreach team. Downtown Partnerships, they do some stuff. There's a list of outreach teams that are out there that are doing things. We're not the only ones, we're just the smallest. And we're trying to get into that we could be a good size to actually do more. But the city does contract with, like, I think PATH is the main one they connect with. And PATH actually means people assisting the homeless. And so they are one of the main ones the city connects with to do different things. But yeah, I'm not going to go into the politics, but yeah, there you go. Any other questions for Jermaine or myself before we get going? Before we go to the next thing?
Okay. Shane, Jermaine, thank you so much. This is becoming a bigger issue all the time in Mira Mesa. I know that there's a lot of work going on the ground. We love to have the support from the council member's office. A lot more needs to happen up here. Just from a personal anecdote, I went to a meeting at the mayor's office on homelessness, and I was greeted with, "You're the first person from north of 8 who's ever been at one of these meetings." So we need to get more stuff up here. And we look forward to working with you and bringing those resources to Mira Mesa so that all those folks who are one of us, they grew up here, they went to school here, and who are on our streets homeless can stay here and get back to being part of our community. So thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Real
Sure.
quick. Jeff, I think you could send out the slide. And if anybody has any questions on any of the slides or any of the things that Jermaine and I do, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
I'll post them on the website. They'll be attached to the minutes also.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. My apologies for dropping out at the beginning. That's what happens when a bunch of people put too many things on the same circuit as your computer. A little bit of a blackout. So next up is government.
One other thing. So
yes.
Somehow I got a message that the Zoom was locked.
Yes.
I don't know how that happened, but I looked around in various buttons and finally found one that unlocked it. So I think we're good now. So,
excellent.
Yeah. I tried to get in during probably 10 minutes when it was locked.
Right.
Yeah, about a half an hour almost. I was trying to get in and couldn't get in, but I got in that now. So you unlocked it.
No.
Excellent. All right. Government and community resources for Mira Mesa Branch Library. Is Marta here? Okay. Mira Mesa Community Planning Group. Jeff?
Yeah, it was a pretty simple report. The January meeting was canceled so that the planning group members could attend the public meeting on the new police chief. The February meeting will be on Thursday, February 22nd, since the third Monday is President's Day. January and February, the planning group always meets the Thursday after, so February 22nd is the next meeting.
Excellent, thank you. Mira Mesa Community Recreation Group, Joe Frichtel.
Good evening. We're having our next meeting on the 13th, which is a lucky day. It's the day before Valentine's Day out at Lopez Ridge. The only problem we have is that the people that are doing the Wagenheim and the Sauk project, apparently they don't know how to mix dirt because they have the wrong kind of materials in the dirt, so they can't put the grass down until they get that out straightened out. So right now it's costing us at Wagenheim like 6 months because they mixed the dirt wrong. So I don't know what to say, but people that they do that for a living makes no sense. Just drives me crazy. That's about it.
Please keep us updated on that, because that's outrageous that a contractor could cost us 6 months because they didn't know how to put down dirt.
Well, it's approaching 2 years for a 1-year project now, so we're getting there.
All right. Thank you. Miramar College, Wes Lundberg.
Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad to have gotten into the meeting. Very short report for you tonight, actually. Our enrollment continues to be up. We're up 8% this semester. So we're getting the students back in pretty good numbers, rolling back toward pre-pandemic numbers. The district will be putting a bond measure on the November ballot. That would be done this summer, of course, but Miramar College would benefit tremendously from that, with an arts gallery, performing arts center, and things like that. And then that would open up some opportunities for Mira Mesa as well, because of course that would be available for use for the city as well. So very exciting things with that, some athletics fields improvement and stuff like that. So when I'm on the clock, law says that I cannot, ask people to support and things like that, but I'm not on the clock. In any case, I'm not going to even come close to that line. I'm just simply intending to put information out there and let you know what's going to come forward. If this council would like, we can put together a presentation to go over exactly what would happen at Miramar. Just let me know, and we can get that scheduled with you and do an educational piece like that. So that's it. Shout out to Shane. Shane, good to see you, man. He's going to be bringing his group out, educational group he's probably told you about in May to use the campus. So we're very excited about that. Oh, the other thing I would say is that we've got our parking issues. If the town council or anyone else wants to use the college facilities for civic things, that it's bare minimum just to cover our real direct costs. And then for other entities as well, it would be available for a rental. But we did get some of those facilities things taken care of, which is really delightful to me, because we by law are supposed to open the campus up to the community. We're more than happy to, as you all know, but even by law, and yet government gets in its own way sometimes and puts things in place that keep you from being able to do for communities what we're supposed to do. So anyway, just happy to report that we've removed some of the hurdles that were in place. Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Wes, on the bond issue, if you put pickleball courts at the top of the thing there, you'll get thousands and thousands of votes.
Pickleball courts are on the plan. So I think there's 4, if I remember right. It's 4 pickleball courts. Those are available now, by the way. We even have a pickleball class. So if you would like to learn pickleball, then we've got the class for you.
Excellent. Thank you. And yes, I would really love to see that presentation as soon as next month, if you're ready.
I'm sure we could put that together. I'll be in touch with you and Pam offline then maybe, and we'll confirm that. Yep. Okay.
And if I could just ask Wes, were you in the call when Michael Spencer made his announcement about Independence Day fireworks this year? I'm not sure if you were with us. Okay, just to recap, Wednesday, July 3rd will be community celebration, mid-afternoon to evening, countdown to the fireworks at 9 p.m. And looking forward to that. And Barry and I will be working with you, because we plan to have something even bigger and better than what we started with this year. So we'll be talking.
I love that. Great. Well, however we can help.
I think
Wes, one more
Selena
question.
teamed up.
So a lot of the people in the community have been asking about the no animal sign at the joint use park. And I was wondering if that is a temporary measure, or if that's permanent, that you can't bring your dogs or really any animals to the Hourglass Park. And I wanted to know if that also included service dogs.
So, well, it wouldn't be able to well, I can't speak for the city. Remember, it's a joint use, but what I'll speak for is for us. We cannot prevent people with service dogs from using any facilities, including going to class. And by the way, by law, all we can do is, ask, is this a service animal? We can't ask for documentation or anything like that by law. So, but with Hourglass Park, I think that's managed by the city. And I think they have that signage at all city parks. So it may be that that's what, that it has to be on leash. I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood you. Is it no animals at all?
It's no animals at all, and the signage has Miramar College and the city of San Diego on it. There's signs all over the park at Hourglass, and it's only Hourglass. None of the other parks have the signage.
Okay, yeah, I could look into it, but I have a feeling that's city driven. I can tell you it's not college driven. We have people walking dogs on campus even. We don't mind. So
we did that on the we did that on the joint use committee.
So Joe could answer this maybe.
So
is that permanent?
Pardon? Yes, it's permanent because people won't clean up after their animals.
So it's a function of both the city and the college together then?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Wes. How you doing, Wes? Just saying what's up to Wes.
Doing well. Thanks, Shane.
All right, moving on to elected officials. First, from the office of City Council Member Kent Lee, Jermaine.
I don't want to take too much space. Wanted to let you all know about our very successful dumpster day. It's coming back. It'll be on March 2nd. And all the info I just put on the chat. Just wanted to say thank you for having me here, Shane, for the invitation. And I also wanted to say on behalf of Michaela as well, that we really appreciate your patience with everything right now that's happening at the city. I know that the storm is really impacting our most challenged neighborhoods. And so thank you all for accommodating, with this Zoom. It's really helpful.
Hey, Michaela, Jermaine, I noticed that the dumpster day is actually in University City. Is it okay for Mira Mesa residents to take stuff over there?
Yes, of course. It's welcome for District 6 constituents.
Okay.
And I'll just say thank you to your entire office. When I went down to the flooded areas, I think it was everybody from the D6 staff was down there gutting out houses. And that's tough, awful work. Distraught homeowners, y'all were handling them amazingly. Someone from your office got Humane Society down there for animals who had been left behind, and it's truly appreciated. All right, next up, San Diego Unified School Board, Sabrina Bazzo.
Yeah, thank you. And to continue the flood, the trend here with that conversation, I just put a link in the chat for San Diego Foundation, which is helping to support a lot of the flood victims. And that's a group also that San Diego Unified is partnering with and has been a long time partner with. So please consider helping out those people that are just being impacted. And, fortunately here in Mira Mesa, we have not seen as much damage, but there's parts of the city, as I'm sure you've seen in the media, they're really impacted. And our schools are really like a haven right now for some of those families. It's the only place in the neighborhood that they can go that's safe. And thank you. Yeah, it looks like Jermaine just put some more resources in the chat as well. So that's one thing that we are dealing with. Another thing, and this is not positive, but because of now that we're losing some of our COVID funding, or most of the COVID funding is starting to dry up, and the state is not doing as well financially as had been hoped. So we're looking at about $100 million budget cut to San Diego Unified this coming year. So, we finally got funded where we should have been all along, and now, unfortunately, that's going away. So, the good news is that we have great people working in our offices. They've had to work, unfortunately, with budget cuts before and deal with all of this. You know, the bad news is no matter what we end up doing, it's going to, you know, someone's not going to be happy. Of course, we're going to try to keep those cuts and away from our students as much as possible, meaning probably seeing more, you know, impact at the district office. But of course, the people at the district office are also supporting people at the school level. But so kind of working through that right now and working with having meetings with our different clusters and our principals to kind of see what that looks like at different schools. More good news is that we're actually going to be doing a groundbreaking next Monday, I believe, at Mira Mesa High School for the next phase of the whole site modernization. So that part's going to be really cool. And I know they're going to get rid of the ugly office in the front and several of the buildings on that side of the campus that have been in need of modernization for quite some time. So I'm very excited that that's finally happening at Mira Mesa. We've been doing a lot of whole site modernization across the city, but starting with some of our even older campuses like San Diego High, Hoover, Crawford, but it's now making its way up more a little north. And the funding for that, it has come from propositions where taxpayers have voted on. So we appreciate that and hoping to that won't be as delayed as what Joe was talking about over at Wagenheim, and we'll be able to stay on course a little bit better. So thank you, and I think I'll stop there.
Thank you. All right, next up, from the Office of Mayor Todd Gloria, I don't think Michaela is here, is she?
Don't see her, no.
Okay. County Supervisor Chair Lawson Reamer, Evan Bridgham.
Hi, how's it going? I guess just piggybacking off of what everyone else was saying, we have some additional resources for the flood relief. Sabrina shared the San Diego Foundation. The county's partnering with them as well for that relief fund. I'll throw that content into the chat as well. And then one other thing, we over the last few months, our office have worked a lot and put a lot of time into creating a report of some of the accomplishments, the changes that our office and the board as a whole have accomplished over the last 3 years. It's fairly comprehensive with priority areas of the homeless, helping the homeless, delivering mental health and addiction treatment, confronting rising housing costs, supporting children and families, empowering workers, supporting small businesses, etc. We have the link to this report on our website, and I will share that with you as well. We encourage you to look at it. You can go by section, so it's either go to look at housing or environmental protection, or you can, at the very bottom, you can download the whole thing and read it. I was going to bring some physical copies, but I can at the next meeting as well. Yeah, anyone have any questions?
I think that's it. Thank you, Evan.
Great, thank you.
All right, State Senator Brian Jones. Is Mark Schaefer here? Okay.
Let's see him.
State Assemblyman Chris Ward. Mickey Holmes.
Yes, I am here. Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody. So my name is Mickey. I am your representative for the Office of Assembly Member Ward. So piggybacking again off of what everyone has been saying, our office is available for any questions related to insurance for flooding. We do have our liaisons with the Department of Insurance that we're happy to connect constituents with, as well as, I think it was already mentioned, but to fill out the county survey if there is any damage to your home or business. But for the Assembly, the legislative session started on January 3rd. Assembly Member Ward has introduced a few bills so far, but we are still finalizing our legislative package. So if you have any ideas for bills or new laws that you think should be put in place, you can reach out to me. There's also a button on our website for bill ideas that you can submit through the website. And then I did want to update. I know we had spoken about AB 205 in the past, and a part of that bill was the mandate for the California Public Utilities Commission to come up with a more equitable charging rate system for utilities, and SDG&E had proposed a flat rate fee, and a lot of people were very uncomfortable with that situation, and we know that it was not going the way that the legislature had imagined or anticipated that it would. So Assemblymember Ward has joined some other members in putting out a bill that would I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the word for some reason, but that would get rid of that bill. It would just pull back on that part because, again, it's not being utilized in the way that the legislature intended. So he is supporting that bill and is a co-author on that bill. And I think those are the updates I have. Upcoming events we have a Senior Scam Stoppers webinar on Wednesday, February 28th. So if you have anybody that needs help or any reminders about some scams that may be going on over email, over phone, that's a really helpful one. We also have a Cash for College webinar on February 28th. That's for high school seniors and college students for college scholarships. And then we will also be having a Mira Mesa combined Mira Mesa and Claremont community coffee in March. We're still finalizing a venue for that, but I will be in contact with you as soon as I get that information. And you should also, I believe, be receiving in the mail. Everybody in the zip code should be receiving an invitation in the mail as well. So I will get that information to you as soon as possible. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to take those now.
Let me just
Hey,
ask.
can you put
I was just going to ask. So I'm happy to hear about the that flat rate will may actually go away. So that's really what's going to happen here sometime soon.
Yes. So they already introduced the bill that would get rid of that portion of AB 205. That proposal was just a proposal. The CPUC with the original AB 205 bill, I believe they had until the fall of this year to pick one of the proposed plans, and one of those proposed plans was SDG&E's flat rate. But as I said, the CPUC, the way they were handling it and the was not the way that the legislation, I'm so sorry, that the legislature intended. So yes, so Assemblymember Ward is a co-author and is completely supporting to remove that part of the AB 205.
Mickey, can you put your website in the chat?
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for having me. I'll stick around and be in the chat if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Mickey. Next up from the office of Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, Geeta Akbarpour.
Can you hear me okay? Okay, just want to make sure. Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties today.
No, we can't hear you at all. It's really pixelated.
I can hear, but there's an echo. Yeah. I don't know if you can do anything about that. Oh, now you're frozen.
Can you hear me okay now?
It helps if you turn up your video.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Much better. Yeah, probably.
Perfect.
Good to see you for a moment, but hearing is better. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. All right. So first, just a quick introduction. My name is Geeta. I am the new staff assistant at Congresswoman Jacobs' office. I've just been there just a few weeks now, so still getting the hang of things. But this is my first meeting that I'm joining for the Mira Mesa Town Council. So I did want to just do a quick introduction. I will also be putting my contact info in the chat soon so that you guys have my contact in case there is anything you need from our office. So as far as the Congresswoman's recent activity, as far as in Washington, D.C., with the start of the new year and second session, Congresswoman Jacobs is asking her constituents to share their top priorities for the year 2024. And that survey can be found on our website, sarahjacobs.house.gov/survey. In addition to that, as far as legislation goes, Congresswoman Jacobs did just vote to pass legislation that would help families make ends meet, boost housing that's affordable, spur innovation, improve economic competitiveness, and ultimately help lift 400,000 kids out of poverty by expanding the child tax credit. So in regards to the district here in San Diego, and specifically in regards to all the flooding that's been happening recently, the Congressman did lead the San Diego congressional delegation in urging President Biden to approve a federal emergency declaration to help San Diego address the damages from these floods. That is if the federal criteria is met. So after the flooding occurred, the Congresswoman visited various local businesses and other individuals impacted by the storm in Rolando Village, Rolando Park, Mission Valley, Spring Valley, and Lemon Grove. She's also been in constant contact with FEMA Region 9 and the administrators there to see how the county's assessments. So basically, if damage assessments meet a certain federal threshold, then that should open us up to receive federal assistance with recovery efforts. So that is why that, filling out that county survey is so important, because those responses help to record damages and get an accurate assessment so that we can get federal assistance if that threshold is met. So yeah, we are hoping to meet that threshold. As far as some recent activities in the district, the Congresswoman did attend the grand opening and ribbon cutting of the new Rec Innovation Lab at Miramar College. The Rec Innovation Lab is a small business startup incubator focused on helping women and minority entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds launch scalable hybrid startups. In addition to that, just last weekend, actually, the Congresswoman did attend the 6th annual Women of Color War Breakfast that was held at San Diego City College. It was a breakfast to honor women of color in elected office and also inspire young women of color to seek careers in public service. Another recent event, the Congresswoman did join students at the Armed Services YMCA for their after-school program. They had a Valentine's or Vets event where they made Valentines that are going to be delivered to veterans. So that is that as far as the activity. Because this is my first meeting that I'm joining for this year, I did want to give a little update as far as casework goes for office over the year 2023. So yeah, over last year, our office was able to assist 2,691 constituents, returning $19 million to constituents through federal casework, and we secured more than 270 federal grants for California's 51st district for this year. So lots of big numbers. And as always, please do reach out to our office if you need any help or support regarding any cases that you might have open with the IRS, the VA, USCIS, or really any other federal agency. So I think that's it for me. And again, I'm going to put my contact info down in the chat if you guys have any questions or need anything from our office. All right, thank you.
And thank you. Welcome. And last on our elected officials list, San Diego Community College District Board Member Bernie Reinerson. All right. He does not appear to be represented. All right, I currently have 3 people who signed up for the open forum. We'll start with Larry Webb for Larry Turner, candidate for mayor. You're muted.
Thank you. My name is Larry Webb. I'm representing mayoral candidate Larry Turner, a retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel and a current San Diego police officer, not a politician. San Diego used to be one of the most desirable places to live and visit. Now we have a $171 million projected budget deficit and growing, a $5 billion and growing infrastructure deficit, and a $3.6 billion pension deficit, and it's growing. Because of our current mayor, this has become the new norm in the city of San Diego. Larry knows it's the time to change the norm by taking charge and undoing the damages created by the current mayor. Larry will work to reduce crime around the city with quality and professional police personnel and support staff. You know, it really shouldn't take an hour to report a crime or something on the police non-emergency number. He'll work to significantly reduce the homeless population with a compassionate and comprehensive plan, address the cost of living for San Diegans who are struggling to make ends meet, and immediately address the infrastructure that is broken due to the lack of attention and funding. Our residents shouldn't be flooded out of their homes due to the city neglect. With your support, he'll return San Diego to America's finest city. You know, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different is insanity. Let's not make this mistake of sending a career politician back into office and expecting something different from him. Larry is a working police officer and could not be here tonight, but he wants to hear from your community. I have put his website and information for Instagram in the chat. He would love to hear from your community and your concerns. Please take a look and consider Larry Turner for mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Next up on our list is Connie Kraus regarding the state of the rec center and performing arts center.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me introduce myself. My husband and I and our family have lived here for approximately 35 years in the same location, and we love it. We moved here from Encinitas because, quite honestly, we wanted a more diverse neighborhood. And one of the things that lured us here was the promise that there would be a performing arts center eventually built, that the recreation center would be expanded, because even then it was starting to show a little bit of its age. I do remember when we used to have a performing arts group here in Mira Mesa. It was nonprofit, and we used to have the Monster Manor, and for a while they even had a storefront in the Mira Mesa Mall. And so I was just wanting to get an update on, is that in the works, or has it been totally done away with? What's going on with it?
Is that a question I could?
Yes, because like I said, one of the reasons why we moved here were some of the things that were in discussion for the community. And one of those was that, the recreation center could be expanded, or that there would be a recreation performing arts center built. Is there anything like that in the works? I heard that from Miramar College representative that, if the propositions go well, that is one of the things they would like to build, and it would be open to the community. But again, do we have anything here in our community planned?
So not in the, not that will be operated by the city. The school district is building a large performing arts center at Mira Mesa High School. This will be I think 800 seats is what I remember. A good size.
Yes,
About the
but that
size of,
I teach at Mira
Howard.
Mesa. I've been
Oh.
there since 2001, and various ideas have been proposed on campus to have a quasi community and school performing arts center. The problem with that is, and this is why we haven't had previous ones successful in their suggestion to do that, is that one, we are there and the performing arts classes would be utilizing that building for approximately 10 months out of the year. They put on various programs in the fall. They put some on in usually over the winter, and then they also do an improv usually in the afternoon. So it's not just the time when there's something actually being presented or performed. They have to practice. That's one. Secondly, because of the different practicalities, we do not have the public coming onto campus during school hours. That's a safety and security issue. And that's why, those reasons why right there, the proposal to take a building and put it on campus and have it be for school purposes and community purposes, it hasn't happened because of those practicalities.
I can speak a little bit to the Performing Arts Center that Jeff was speaking about. It's going to be on the corner where the Christmas tree lot is, so it's going to be completely separate from the campus. We will, when it's built, they will be allowing the public to use that space. So it's not going to be specifically on the campus. It's going to be separate for that reason. That has already been approved. It is in the plans, but it's a few years out because we are just starting phase 2. As I mentioned, with the groundbreaking next week. And I do know that that has been approved, but it's going to be phase 3. So right. It is going to be, a few more years out, but it has been approved and it is in the plan to do that on that location.
So they'll just put it outside of the gates so that it won't be a security issue.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Great.
Hey, Sabrina, I had talked to Principal Sabins about that.
Yeah.
And he was saying that the current facility, the Performing Arts Theater, it costs like quite a bit of money to rent it. And this would be a larger facility. Do you have any? He said it would probably be more along the lines of renting the Performing Arts Center at Patrick Henry. Do you have any idea how much it is to rent that?
I don't know how much it is to rent it, Lainey, but I do know it depends on what organization you're with. For example, if you're with a nonprofit, if you're with the school, for example, obviously it's going to be free or very low rent. If you're with a nonprofit organization, I know it's like a tiered structure. So it depends on, obviously if you're within the community and you're a nonprofit, they're going to have a cheaper price than you would if it was just like a commercial group that wanted to come in. It's kind of like the fields. They have outside groups that come in and rent the football fields, and they charge a lot for some of those, but that's to, for-profit groups. But if there's nonprofit or school groups in there, it's much cheaper. So I don't know exactly, but if you wanted to email me, I can, I email our facilities director, but of course, by the time it gets built, it could be completely different price structure too.
Sabrina, maybe that I can address this question to you because
Sure.
I know that it came up in past discussions about this because, like I said, this has been discussed for quite a few years.
Yeah.
How do they handle the overlap of when it would be available to the community?
When the Performing Arts Center would be?
Yes. The coordination of, the rehearsals and the practices between school use and the other and outside groups.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. We could look to other organizations that have done this. I know we are building other performing arts centers all around the city. As Lainey mentioned, Patrick Henry has a very nice one. We've also built, I want to say Hoover and Crawford now. So we've been making it work. I don't know, and it's going to look a little bit different in each community.
Right.
But I think as we get closer to, actually getting in, being able to do our groundbreaking, we'll be able to have more specifics about that.
How long have the other performing arts centers been around? Because I'm just trying to get a perspective
Sure.
of the workability of it.
Yeah, a lot of our site modernization, as I mentioned, thanks to the taxpayers in San Diego who have approved that, we have really, that's like, we just opened the, down in Hoover. I know San Diego High right now is under whole site modernization. So there's Patrick Henry. I think they've had theirs for a little while. They're a newer school as well, though. So they're kind of, just taking it as, we're newer compared to some of the schools that are south of us.
Right.
So as, like I said, once we get closer to that time, we'll have more information. But I do know that a lot of our whole site modernization is happening like now, and within the last several years. And so it is exciting. We have a lot of new facilities popping up. And that will continue to take place and, and over the next several years.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Alex, did you have a question about this topic or do you have something else?
I just put a comment, as someone who used to produce theater for the Mira Mesa Theater Guild and the Monster Manor. The problem that I would see, and I don't know what the new issue would be, is that because it's part of the school campus, there are restrictions on what we can produce because schools, they have to have their own little thing, and that was proven to be unworkable for us as a theater company to continue to produce stuff at. It wasn't at it was at the other school by Hourglass, forgot his name, Wagenheim.
Yeah.
That and the fact that, as you mentioned, it was we had to like juggle schedule in weird configurations to make that work.
All right, thank you. We went on pretty long for the comment section. So the last person on the list is Sabrina Bazzo.
I think Pam had her hand up.
Oh, I did have my hand up. I was just going to say, seems like there's enough interest in this. We should carry the discussion on to maybe a future performing arts themed meeting, and we can talk some more. Connie, wherever you are, I'm looking for your square. Thanks for bringing that up.
And
You're welcome. Thank you.
I wanted to sign up too. I didn't see where to do it. I've never been to one of your Zoom meetings before.
Yeah, we had been announcing it in the first like 15 or 20 minutes of the meeting. So yeah, come on in.
So yeah, I'll just finish what Pam's thought. I think it would be good if we wanted to have that meeting. We can certainly have our facilities. Lee Dolgaroff at the district. He's been working with the fireworks and he's amazing. And he would know a lot of this information as far as more about timeline and be able to answer more of some of these specific questions. So we can certainly include him, and probably Jeff Sabins from the high school too, because he'll be able to provide more. I think someone has their hand up, but should I go ahead and do my?
We'll take one more from Mark and then you move on to what you were on the list for, and then Lane.
I was listening to you talk about the Patrick Henry Performing Arts Center. So I just looked it up quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And they only ran it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for a minimum of 7 hours a day. It's $75 an hour for a nonprofit for setup, $100 an hour for performance time. And then if you're a commercial group, it's $90 per hour for setup and breakdown, $150 per hour for performance time for Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. Anyway, just because people were talking about wondering how much it costs, I just wanted to throw that out. That's all.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me, because I remember that was same thing with Wagenheim, and it actually makes it very hard to produce theater when you can't leave the setup for the duration of the run of the show. You have to take it down every Sunday and then put it back up and repaint the set and everything.
Mm. Thank you though, Mark. That was helpful. I appreciate that you're looking at. So yeah, I'll not take up too much time, but just wanted to remind everyone that we do have an election primary coming up, and I'm actually on the ballot. I'll be running for school board again. It's already been almost 4 years. For most of you know me, but I'm been a long time member of not only Mira Mesa Town Council, but a resident, of course, of Mira Mesa, and raised both my daughters here. Started as a PTA parent at Sandburg Elementary, was PTA president at both Sandburg and Challenger Middle School, and foundation president at the high school for several years, in addition to also being an officer on Mira Mesa Town Council, and just love this community. And my area is District A, which includes Mira Mesa, Scripps Ranch, Claremont, and Kearney Mesa areas. So I appreciate your support on the upcoming primary. And I came in when we started, we were right in the midst of COVID. We weren't even meeting online. So we were successfully able to collaborate with our local public health officials, and different working with the city, the county, and a great team to get our students back in school. As I mentioned, we are doing a lot in the way of whole site modernization. We've really ramped up our universal transitional kindergarten program and a lot more. And but it's a hard job. As I mentioned, we have budget cuts coming this way. So I'm dedicated to the job and honored to be able to serve you, and hope you'll vote for me in March and in November too, of course.
Thank you, Sabrina. Lainey?
So Connie, kind of interestingly enough, what I was going to talk about was the Mira Mesa Community Fund. And the whole reason that I even found out about it was because we were advocating to have the Epicenter turned into a performing arts center. And some of the things that were brought up to us during that advocacy was that there's going to be this performing arts center at the school. And we identified a lot of the same issues that Alex is talking about, and that you're talking about too, about the difficulty of having, content that might not be appropriate or considered appropriate on a school campus, or just the logistics of, Alex, I'm a theater kid too, having to strike and redo, that's going to be rough. So, but again, within that, some of the people in our group remembered that there was this community fund that at one point was supposed to contribute to creating a performing arts center in Mira Mesa. Long story short, many of us didn't know that this fund existed. And when we were looking it up, we found out it's a little over $1 million. We found out that $1 million of it was attached to the Phase 2 Mira Mesa Community Park expansion. It was really difficult to find out what happened, how it happened, what was going on with it. There's a really great article that I was interviewed for in the Union Tribune, and Alex already put up a link to it. But long and short of it, we found out that Andy Field, the director of Parks and Rec in San Diego, had attached this to the Phase 2 park expansion, and there was a resolution passed in a meeting on April 13th that our representative Kent Lee chaired, and we had searched and looked for public records trying to figure out when this happened. We finally figured it out, and Andy promised to return it to the community so that we can use it for, the idea was, well, it could go to this budget, but really, when you have a budget that's over right now has $40 million in it, 1 million isn't going to make that much of a difference. And that we still have funding available for this project. We have like 17, I think it's like 14 to 17 million in our FBA and DIF funds. So we don't need to take this $1 million from the community, where it might not have that much of an impact on the park, but it could have a huge impact here with different things that we might be able to use it for. Now that we found it, it's going to be hard to protect it. So here are 3 things that we wanted to throw out to consider. One is that our fund is being lumped into a category of funds that was mismanaged by the city. And we've heard Councilmember Lee's office refer to the grand jury fund, grand jury report, and that of mismanaging funds, which the only one I could find was DIF funds. So we were told that the mayor wants these legacy funds spent right away. But that's not what our community fund was intended for, and it's not meant to fund gaps in funding for the city. It's meant to be spent for us, by us. We also need to make sure that the money is actually returned to the fund. And so we'll have to keep a watch on city council for that to make sure that actually happens. I learned this actually from the article that they will need to vote, that they're going to vote after a bid is accepted. So we need to keep eyes on that. And lastly, again, most of us didn't even know that this fund existed. So we want to try to devise a more equitable, representative, and transparent system, not only to request, ideas on how to use these funds, but to make sure everyone in the community has access and that there is a record that we can all reference so that it doesn't fall out of the public view. The only other thing that I would say, and it looks like she may have left, is that it's really been difficult to work with Kent Lee's office on this issue. We're hoping that might be, oh, there's Jermaine. We're kind of hoping it's going to go better in the future, but it's been really frustrating and disappointing, and we're hoping that maybe that will change. The last thing I'd say is that I'm a part of several advocacy groups, one for the Epicenter, Mira Mesa Concerned Citizens, and Mira Mesa Community Champions. Our next meeting is going to be through Mira Mesa Community Champions, and I'm going to put a link to the website in the chat. If you are interested in some of the work that we're doing with the community fund and having the Mira Mesa Rec Center come before Three Roots, we want to make that change. And also just pushing along phase 2, please join us at the next meeting. And you can look at the website and see when that is. TBD, probably within the next few weeks. And that's it. Thank you.
Hey, Lainey, because of my job, this is not advocacy or anything. This is just historical information. But there was in the 90s a community plan that to turn the park right next to the Epicenter into a performing arts, and that community plan was changed in like 2010, 15, whatever. I forgot the day, or 18, something like that. And the community performing arts center was not part of the community plan anymore. However, Kent Lee's office does have the original plan for that, and I believe gosh darn it, I forgot her name. Used to be on the theater guild. Anyway, Mitsley should also have a copy of that also. So.
Okay, thanks, Alex. I'm writing this down.
So, Barry, can I just add a little bit to that? What Theater Guild proposed years ago, the same time that the Epicenter was funded, was a 4,000 square foot shell of a theater to be built between the Epicenter and the parking lot. And then Theater Guild had plans to expand on that and improve it over time. Theater Guild came back again in 2016, I think, when it looked like the Epicenter was going to close, and had an idea of using some low-cost construction materials to build it. And Alex probably remembers that because he was in on that discussion. Can comment also if he wants to. So what was posed there was something that, I mean, in the original plan, Theater Guild thought they could do that for $500,000. And likewise with the lower cost construction materials, it was in that same ballpark. So it's not necessarily out of range to do something like that with the money in the community fund. But it takes careful attention to materials and budgeting to see if that would actually work. And something, of that size, the 4,000 square foot type size that can fit in that spot area between the Epicenter and the parking lot to make that work. So Alex, you remember that?
Yes, I do. And if I dig hard enough, I could probably find the plan somewhere. And it's not low cost material. It is a temporary membrane structure. It's semi-permanent is what it's described as, and it's something that's used everywhere a lot for structures that could stand up for up to 20 years as a semi-permanent tent structure that's insulated. So all with that particular one, all you would need to do is pour a slab and have it on there. And it's the same thing that the Army uses for like temporary structures in the desert or in like war zones or like in quick places to make a office or something like that. It could be up for literally 10-15 years. So it's that same material. But that was, I got to say, 10-15 years ago. So I don't know how much with inflation and current construction costs, how much it is now.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you to everyone in the public comment section. We appreciate you jumping on Zoom with us, having to make the switch at the last moment due to the uncertain weather condition. And we'll see everyone again in March. Take care.
Hey, before we even go, the reason I'm here is because Pam had said that we wanted us here to mention the TED Festival this weekend.
Okay. Didn't have that on the agenda. Jump on in.
All right, so not this weekend. So the San Diego TED Festival is happening next weekend, the 16th through the 18th, and through working with Pam, and I believe one of our board member Alan is working with Pam. We are bringing back some of the commemorative T-shirts, a very limited order that you can buy for the TED Festival. And Pam has the proof of it, so she could probably share it out in one of the newsletter or email. And that's it. I think it's happening from 4 to 10 p.m. on February 16th, and then 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. on February 17th, and 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. on February 18th. So hope to see everyone there. And I know Chris Ward has emailed us saying that he is coming from another event at 11 o'clock and might not make it to the opening ceremony. And I will respond to the email, but I just want to tell the Chris Ward's rep, if she's still here, is that the speaking part doesn't happen until about 12:30. So if he makes it around there, he should be fine. And that's it.
Excellent. All right, Pam, you're muted.
There we go. I'm unmuted now, right? There will be a Mira Mesa Town Council booth all 3 days at TED Festival. We have volunteers signed up already, but if you'd like to volunteer and help, email Jeff as webmaster, because he's got the schedule and can fit you in. It would be wonderful to see everybody either helping at the booth or just stopping by the booth and coming out and enjoying the festival. It should be wonderful.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Right.